As of 14 November 2023, according to the Gazan Health Ministry, more than 14,300 Palestinians, including over 6,000 children, have been killed, making this the deadliest war for children in modern times. Widespread civilian deaths have led to both Israel and Hamas being accused of war crimes. After weeks of painstaking negotiations facilitated by Qatar with assistance from Egypt and the United States, a significant diplomatic breakthrough has been achieved in the ongoing conflict on 22 November 2023. The primary objective of this breakthrough is to facilitate the delivery of essential supplies such as food, medicines, and fuel to the 2.4 million civilians facing increasingly dire conditions in Gaza. The agreement is designed to be implemented in stages, with the hope that it can be extended and expanded. Here are the key details. Qatar is set to announce the commencement of a 4-day humanitarian pause in Gaza. During this period, Palestinian prisoners are expected to be released in exchange for 50 hostages held by Islamist militants in Gaza. Qatar's foreign ministry stated that the starting time of the pause would be announced within the next 24 hours and is subject to extension. Phased exchange. Israel has confirmed that the exchange will occur in 2 phases. In the initial step, 50 hostages and 150 Palestinian prisoners are slated to be released during the 4-day pause in hostilities. If successful, a second phase could involve the release of 150 additional Palestinian prisoners in exchange for another 50 hostages during an extended truce. During the hostage exchange, Israeli reconnaissance activities in Gaza would be temporarily suspended. Hostages and prisoners. The agreement targets the release of 240 hostages abducted during the October 7th attack by Hamas, which resulted in approximately 1,200 casualties in southern Israel. The deal specifies that 50 women and children held hostage in Gaza would be released in exchange for Palestinians. According to Hamas, 3 Americans, including 3-year-old Abigail Mor Idan, are among the hostages. List of detainees. Israel has published a list of 300 Palestinian detainees who could be freed, with the majority being teenage boys. Of those on the list, 49 are identified as Hamas members, 60 as belonging to Fatah, and 17 as affiliated with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, PFLP. Humanitarian aid surge. Following the announcement of the pause in hostilities, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen has ordered an increase in aid deliveries to besieged Gaza. The European Commission aims to use this pause for a humanitarian surge, and Qatar has confirmed plans for a larger number of humanitarian convoys and relief aid, including fuel for humanitarian needs. Israeli intentions. While Qatari mediators express hope that the truce could lead to a more durable ceasefire, Israeli officials emphasize their intention to resume the campaign against Hamas after the completion of hostage releases. The Israeli government has pledged to continue the war until all hostages are returned. Hamas is eliminated, and there is no new threat to the state of Israel from Gaza. Now let's look at the core problem. The Israel and Gaza conflict, a long-standing and complex conflict that has periodically flared into violence, has once again taken center stage on the world's geopolitical landscape. Rooted in historical, territorial, and religious disputes, the conflict continues to evoke passionate responses from around the globe. The latest escalation, which began on 9 October 2023, has brought renewed attention to the enduring struggle for peace in the Middle East. This conflict involves multiple stakeholders, including the State of Israel, the Gaza Strip, and various regional and international actors, all vying for a resolution that remains as elusive as ever. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a long-standing and deeply rooted dispute with a complex history. Here is a brief chronological overview of key events leading to the conflict. Late 19th century Jewish immigration to Palestine, then part of the Ottoman Empire, begins in response to the rise of Zionism, a Jewish nationalist movement that seeks a homeland in historic Palestine. Balfour Declaration of 1917. The British government issues the Balfour Declaration, expressing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. British Mandate from 1920 to 1948. After World War I, the League of Nations grants Britain a mandate to govern Palestine. Tensions rise as Jewish and Arab populations both claim the land. United Nations Partition Plan of 1947. The UN proposes a partition plan recommending the division of Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states with Jerusalem under international administration. Jewish leaders accept the plan, but Arab leaders reject it. Israeli Declaration of Independence in 1948. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, declared the establishment of the State of Israel. Arab states, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq, declare war on Israel. Armistice Agreements of 1949. A series of armistice agreements are signed between Israel and its neighboring Arab states, ending the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. These agreements establish the borders of Israel. Six-Day War of 1967. Israel defeats the combined forces of Egypt, Jordan, and Syria in the Six-Day War, capturing the West Bank, East Jerusalem, the Gaza Strip, and the Golan Heights. Yom Kippur War of 1973. Egypt and Syria launch a surprise attack on Israel during Yom Kippur, a Jewish holiday. A ceasefire is brokered by the United States, and a disengagement of forces begins. Oslo Accords of 1993. Secret negotiations in Oslo lead to the signing of the Oslo Accords between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO. These agreements outline a process for Palestinian self-rule in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Second Intifada between 2000 and 2005. The Second Intifada, a violent Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation, leads to a significant loss of life and destruction on both sides. Gaza disengagement of 2005. Israel unilaterally withdraws from the Gaza Strip, removing all Israeli civilians and military personnel. Hamas takes control of Gaza. Ongoing conflict between 2000 to present day. The conflict continues with sporadic violence, Israeli military operations in Gaza, and efforts to resume peace negotiations. Issues such as borders, refugees, settlements, and the status of Jerusalem remain unresolved. This chronology highlights key milestones in the Israel-Palestine conflict, but the situation remains dynamic and fraught with challenges. The conflict's complexity and its impact on the lives of people in the region make it a central issue in international diplomacy and a persistent source of concern for global stability. In the latest flare-up on October 9, 2023, Hamas launched a surprise attack through both air and land, leading to significant loss of lives. Since the commencement of the Israel-Palestine conflict on October 9, 2023, the situation in Gaza has deteriorated significantly. Israel has implemented a comprehensive blockade in Gaza, resulting in the severe disruption of essential supplies, including food, medical resources, water, and electricity. Furthermore, the relentless barrage of attacks is beyond comprehension. The images emerging from Gaza are nothing short of harrowing. Entire communities have been obliterated, with Israeli forces targeting residential structures. It is estimated that over 2,800 Palestinian civilians have tragically lost their lives, and thousands remain trapped amidst the wreckage. Those who have survived are seeking refuge in hospitals and schools. New evacuation directives have been issued by Israel, instructing Gaza residents to relocate southward along the coastline where humanitarian assistance will be provided. The sole cancer treatment facility in Gaza, the Turkish-Palestinian Friendship Hospital, is facing imminent closure due to fuel shortages. Subsequently, an explosion rocked Al-Ali Arab Hospital, resulting in the tragic loss of over 300 Palestinian lives. This incident gave rise to conflicting narratives regarding the circumstances that precipitated the explosion, with each side of the conflict presenting their version of events. Barrage of diplomacy has started with U.S. President Joe Biden made a visit to Tel Aviv to reaffirm his support for Israel. He expressed his support for the Israeli perspective regarding the tragic incident at Al-Ali Arab Hospital in Gaza, attributing it to Palestinian groups. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has arrived in Tel Aviv for a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Isaac Herzog. Biden also mentioned that he has reached an agreement with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to facilitate the delivery of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. However, the United States exercised its veto power at the United Nations Security Council, blocking a resolution that proposed the provision of humanitarian aid to Gaza. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida initiated a round of telephone conversations with leaders from Qatar, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. During his discussion with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he conveyed his strong condemnation of the hospital attack and pledged $10 million in aid for Palestinians. Russia declared its commitment to dispatching 27 tons of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Chinese President Xi Jinping, in a conversation with Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, expressed China's interest in bolstering cooperation with Egypt to promote stability in the Middle East region. In the midst of all this, the danger of the war escalating is also rising because clashes were seen in Israel and Lebanon. North of Israel is Lebanon, where the Hezbollah militant group operates. Like the Hamas group, Hezbollah is also backed by Iran, and there has already been a war between Hezbollah and Israel in 2006, which lasted for a month. Hezbollah is actually more dangerous than Hamas and more powerful. They have lakhs of rockets and missiles which can attack anywhere in Israel. On top of that, Iran has also warned Israel that if Israel tries to do a ground invasion in Gaza, that is, if it deploys its army to Gaza on the ground, it can get a response from other places. In the midst of the complexities and long-standing tensions that define the Israel-Palestinian conflict, it's important to remember the common people caught in the crossfire. Regardless of their background or beliefs, these individuals often bear the brunt of the conflict's consequences, enduring immense suffering that is not of their making. The children who deserve a peaceful childhood, the families yearning for a safe home, and the communities striving for normalcy are all deeply affected by this ongoing conflict. Their resilience in the face of adversity serves as a testament to the enduring human spirit. As the world watches and the conflict persists, let us not forget the shared humanity that unites us all. The hope for a future where peace, security, and coexistence are not just aspirations but lived realities is a vision we should all work towards. The suffering of the innocent, regardless of their background, is a stark reminder that lasting peace is not only a political or diplomatic endeavor, but a moral imperative. It's a commitment to ensuring that future generations do not inherit the grievances of the past. Let us continue to empathize with the common people on all sides of this conflict who yearn for a better future, one where they can live in peace and security, free from the hardships they endure today. The dream of a more harmonious world is one worth pursuing, for the sake of those who bear the burden of conflict, and for the collective betterment of humanity.